So welcome everybody. This morning we are learning about Tehillim 121. That's Tehillim Kuf Chaf Aleph, very well-known chapter of Tehillim. Truth to tell, it's part 2. If you want to listen to part 1, I believe I already uploaded to the YouTube channel. You could find it there. Let me just briefly summarize what we talked about, and then we'll learn some new thoughts about it for today. What I wanted to show in learning Tehillim Kuf Chaf Aleph, which is a chapter of Tehillim that we recite all the time. In fact, at Or Torah, both when we were in our physical building and now virtually, every single day, we're doing Tehillim together, 10 minutes after the posted time for Mincha. One of the chapters we always learn, or rather, daven, I should say, is chapter Kuf Chaf Aleph, Perek Kuf Chaf Aleph 121. I lift up my eyes to the mountains, from where will my help come? And I tried to explain last time why that's so significant, and why Chazal understand, based on their traditions, that the first person who recited Tehillim Kuf Chaf Aleph was none other than Yaakov Avinu. It wasn't obviously in written form, but he's the composer of it, if you will, or at least a part of it, and going into a time of uncertainty. Yaakov Avinu described as, I think it was Aviva Zornberg I quoted from last time, as the Prince of Darkness. So many of the stories about Yaakov Avinu happen at night. He has to fight the angel at night. He has the dream of the ladders at night. Very often, things are happening for him at night. He's getting ready to encounter Esav, everything in the night. And the idea that he is, of course, according to Chazal in the Gemara Masechet Brachot on Daf Chaf Vav Amud Bet, he is, according to the opinion that maintains that all of Tefillah, the ordering of Tefillah, the Seder of Tefillah, is as against the patriarchs. You have Avram for Shachrit, Yitzchak for Mincha, and of course, Yaakov for Arvit, for Mariv. And that should be, for us, something to think about at a time that we're all experiencing of uncertainty. And that's why I've tried over the years to make sure that it's Tehillim Kuf Chaf Aleph that I'm in the midst of davening. Each time we come back to the period known as Bein Mincha L'Mariv, to daven for Cholim, etc. So here, as you can see on your screen, I hope you can see it on your screen. Here we are, is the shiur from last go around. And let's just look at it together for a couple of minutes. So, by the way, anyone wants to unmute themselves to speak, ask questions and the like, you're welcome to do that. I just muted everyone initially, because otherwise there's a lot of distortion when someone like shifts a paper or something or coughs, and it throws everything off. So this is the shiur from last time. Let's go to the part that we're up to. Even if you missed last time, don't worry. You can still grab it right here. So we're up to the Degel Machane Ephraim. We're just going to learn a few sources together to fill out the picture. Let me make it a little bit bigger so we can all see it together. Okay. So this is the Degel Machane Ephraim is the grandson of the Baal Shem HaKadosh, and he tries to explain some of our understanding of this chapter of Tehillim, and maybe some meaning we can take for ourselves. And of course, it's part of a larger piece. It says, you can see his drasha to Shabbos Shuvah. So I'm speaking about it here in this context, just by the by, without the Shabbos Shuvah component. Although for many of us, we feel we're in some period of Seret Yimei Tshuva or some Yimei Hadin. So maybe apropos for that. Okay. Now, I won't be able to explain all the components here. Some of it has to do with what I called on Sunday in the Shabbos Haggadah drush, like, so to speak, the astrophysics of Judaism. Very complicated ideas from the world of the Sitrei Torah, of secrets of Torah. And so he describes, basically, I lift up my eyes to the mountains. He reads it based on the Torah, presumably, that he received also from his forebears, among them his grandfather, is he's going to quote in a moment. So he says, Hainu the mochin the harem ilin avhon. Basically, the ability to connect, let's say, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a very high way. We'll leave it at that. It's a great oversimplification of what it means, but I'm lifting up my eyes to the highest heights of what are called the mochin. And I find that I can't connect. I see that I'm disconnected. I can't connect to my moorings of Ruchniut, my connection to Hashem. So in that situation, I ask rhetorically, where's my help going to come from now? the idea that I feel like I can't even connect spiritually. So, ki al yedei she'ani ro'eh zeh, umevin al yedei zeh. Once I see this, I see that I can't connect to Hashem. Once I realize I'm broken in my heart, v'naseh ayin, I'm made into ayin. English would be nothingness. It's not a vacuum. It's nothing. It's no thing. It's not related to anything in the that we can relate to from a physical perspective. Think of the expression that we've used many times. We've all learned these ideas that the world is created yesh me'ayin. It's something created out of nothing. So nothing doesn't mean empty space. Nothing means nothing. There's nothing there. Ayin. So I actually realize that I cannot connect to Hashem. Shir la ma'alot. If you have it open in front of you, chapter 121. So a song of ascents. I lift up my eyes to the mountains. For the Degel Machne Ephraim means the highest relationship I can have with Hashem, and I'm broken because I'm not connecting. I can't log on. I can't connect. Can't feel connection from Hashem. And I ask from that brokenness, may ayin, from my sense of being ayin, v'lachein, may ayin, from that brokenness, from that nothingness, my total nullification. From there, yavo ezri. Kayadua mimare aduni avi zikni. Zecher zichronot livrach l'chaya olam haba. He's referring here to the Baal Shem HaKadosh. And the idea that when a person lifts up their eyes and they don't find, so then that they feel a sense of ayin. From that ayin, may my help come. V'zeu, and I'll explain it momentarily. V'zeu al yitein lamot raglecha. Do not, it will not let your foot falter, like to stumble. Heim ha'amana. That refers to the notion of one's emunah, meaning that one can keep going even in that situation. Vayidei ma, and in some way to be able to do this, to be able to keep going. Lachein, therefore, amar al yanum shomrecha hinei le'yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Basically, to say I can't connect to Hashem now. I feel disconnected. I'm saying Esa ein elaharim. Pause. Me'ayin, from that feeling of nothingness. Yavo Ezri, I will actually be able to get my help. Why? Because my help ultimately comes from Hashem, Ezri mim Hashem, who is the maker of heaven and earth. And I live as part of earth, the corporeal, physical being. And therefore, let me affirm now my faith. God will not permit my foot to falter. Your guardian does not slumber. Behold, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Right? And this is the notion of v'hu mibechinat, back to that very, very high and mystical idea. This is in the manner of the mind, meaning the mind of Hashem, so to speak, not literal, but the mind of Hashem, of all of the worlds that animates everything in existence. I can't explain that now. We don't have the time. And again, we just skipped, when you're reading Hasidus, sometimes, depending who you're reading, you're skipping into like Astrophysics 401, but you and me, we're holding by maybe 101. So it's hard for us to get the language. But basically, the manner in which, the mystical manner in which Hashem runs the world, when I think about it, I realize there is a guardian of this world. There's a guardian of Yisrael, of the nation. And it is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Bechinat HaMochin. The thing you have to know about Mochin, the Mochin of Hashem, if you will, the mindfulness, if you will, is that the Mochin are themselves aspects, attributes of Hashem that are so beyond the world, they don't relate to the world. For that, we have what are called the Zion Midot, the 7 attributes, which you know those words. I talked about them on Sunday also. Chesed, Gevura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchut. That's kind of the blueprint, sort of the mechanism, if you could use that word. Again, these are wrongful terms. They're just, we're stuck. We're imprisoned in our language. So I have to use these terms. They're not truly accurate in a mechanistic sort of way. But how does the Kadosh Baruch Hu relate to the world through 7 attributes? Well, these mochin are like they're above that. They're beyond. So you should just know, says the Degel Machne Ephraim, when you're reading this 121st chapter, what is the Mechaber writing here? The Mechaber of this chapter of Tehillim is writing that we should realize, even if we don't have a direct feeling now of transcendent connection to Hashem, you're with me, I feel you at this moment, and from that nothingness, I will draw my help. How? I will affirm. I will recognize. My help ultimately will come from Hashem. It's a declaration of faith. It's a statement of emunah. Hashem made Shemayim and Aretz. Therefore, He will permit me to keep going, etc., guarding. And that is the manner of the mochin of all the worlds that sustains everything. V'ketzad, and how this happens. Lachein omer. Therefore, it says. Now, this is what I'm going to introduce to you now is a very well-known Torah of the Baal Shem Tov, which all of his descendants and his students, they all spoke about this in longhand. So here we are. Lachein omer. Therefore, it says, Hashem shomrecha. Hashem guards you. Hashem is your shadow. Isn't the shadow subservient in some way to the person that makes the shadow? So it's a strange image. Explains the Degel Machan Ephraim. This is the name of his grandfather. Perush. Ki HaKadosh Baruch Hu kemo tzel legabe ha'adam. Kefi hatnua shehu oseh, kach mar'eh HaKadosh Baruch Hu lo. Right here, I highlighted the whole Torah. Hashem is as if Hashem is your shadow. You know, little kids always play this little game where they stand, where they're trying to see if they can move before their shadow. Yeah, they're moving around. Can I beat the shadow? Can I do something without a shadow? So says the Baal Shem Tov here, mediated through his anicle, through the Degel Machan Ephraim. Hashem is, so to speak, like your shadow. According to your movement, your action, so will HaKadosh Baruch Hu be seen to you. The manner in which you move your body, the manner in which you carry about your daily activities, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be seen in your life. You will feel Hashem's presence in your life like a shadow relative to your action. What it means is, and understand what I'm saying, your relationship with Hashem is revealed in your life based so often on what you do. When each of us performs a mitzvah, we're saying, why am I doing this mitzvah? I'm doing this mitzvah now because there's a God in the world, and He wants me to do this. He's the mitzvah, I'm the mitzvah, He's the commander, I'm the commanded. I'm going to perform a mitzvah. A simple action, which may, by the by, not seem like it has any significance. Suddenly, the shadow that it creates, if you will, just as a human being inexorably, of necessity, has a shadow that they cast. Now, the shadow is not coterminous with the source of the shadow. Okay? It's a projection of what happens in the contrast between, and I'm using this term advisedly, so understand it as an analogy, the light filtered through you, from the light that you block or that is absorbed into you, it creates a composite image. Think of a negative from back in the day we used to develop film. Think of an X-ray. It's the contrast itself. Says the Degel Machan Ephraim. Let's read it again. Hashem Shomrecha. Hashem is your guardian. Hashem Tzilcha. Hashem is your shadow. Perush, meaning, Ki HaKadosh Baruch Hu kemo tzel legabe ha'adam. Hashem is as if Hashem is like the shadow relative to a person. Really, your shadow is always there. You can't get away from it. It is a byproduct of the reality that the light of the sun flows, or the light of whatever, a room, comes to you, but then it casts a shadow behind you. It is only seen in the, not even the reflection, but in the negative imprint, like negatives, like film. Yeah. It's the reverse. So, kefi hatnua shehu oseh kach mer HaKadosh Baruch Hu lo. According to your movement, according to your action, any action, by the way, and this is a big yesod in Chassidut. It's one of the things that made Chassidut as popular as it did. It wasn't that they invented something out of whole cloth. They just kept pressing the button harder and harder. You think you are a peasant living in the Ukraine, in the hinterland of Estonia, and who cares about your little life? Hashem cares about your little life. Your little life is impacting everything in the world, and even the things that you do that on the face of it are not even formal mitzvahs, they too can be brought into the service of Hashem. So they champion this idea of achila b'kedusha. The eating itself is an act of sanctity. They didn't invent these ideas. It's not that Hasidus came and, hey, let's come up with a new idea about how to do Judaism. Au contraire, they just said, let's expand it. And of course, the expression that in Hasidus they use, chutza, let your wellspring flow outward. So one of the interpretations of that is, let it flow outward to others, but let it flow outward from every pore of your body and everything that you do, that you engage in. So therefore, I have the highlighted portion here. That's what Hashem will show you, meaning that's how Hashem is seen to you. You see Hashem in your life. Lachein, therefore, he says, and therefore, when you were awakening yourself, if you will, to awaken, help from that which is so transcendent and beyond you, the attributes of Hashem don't even relate to the world, that are guarding the whole world, i.e., really holding up everything in existence. So that's so the notion here, he goes on to explain it a little more. This is what it says. Tikkunim is Tikkunei Zohar, which is one of the books within the library of the Zohar HaKadosh. When it says in the book of Shir HaShirim, Ani Yashena, I am asleep, Vilibi air, but my heart is awake. So Ani Yashena, Ganizkar Le'el, he had mentioned earlier in the drasha. Perush, it means, She'ani ba la'asot chalila, lebechinat mitzvat lo ta'aseh, Ani Yashena. Anaseh ani b'bechinat yashen, v'hu echad mishishim b'mita. When I come to arrive at a mitzvah that is a prohibition, don't do this, don't do that, staying away from it. So I am asleep means that it's 1/60th of death. I have to be passive in that. Ki'ilu mate, v'avaru batum min ha'olam. If I violate, transgress one of those things, that's ani yashena. Completely, not just that I stayed my hand, but I fell in. I violated something. It's like I died. I've nullified myself through doing it. But it also means when you stay away from it, you're nullifying yourself. I want to do this action. I want to eat this food. I want to go to. I can't do this. Why? Hashem said. So I've nullified myself from the world. Ani yeshena, it's like I'm sleeping. By the way, hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shemay Yisrael. There's no such thing as Hashem taking a break or asleep at the switch. We can be asleep at the switch. We're supposed to be asleep at the switch in terms of not passivity or in terms of violation, but in terms of I'm staying my hand. I can't do this. On the flip side, v'libi air, but my heart is awake. It's aroused. The mitzvot aseh azayani me'orer atzim b'chinat chai legabe chai. I awaken myself to fulfill mitzvot, positive mitzvot. I awaken myself in the manner of enlivening myself as regards the one who is life itself, i.e. from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that's the Degel Machane Ephraim. You could see something similar in the Kedushat Levi. Reb Levi Yitzchak ben Sarah Sasha, Zechuto Yagein Aleinu, one of the great students of the Magid Mezeritcher, who in turn was a student of Baal Shem HaKadosh, also explaining along the same lines. And that is, Uchemosh Amar Butzina Kadish Umreinu Harav Rabbeinu Yisrael Baal Shem Tov Mezbesh. He's referring to the Baal Shem HaKadosh. V'cheinu b'medrash, as it describes in the Medrash. It's really based on the Medrash itself, but the Baal Shem HaKadosh like raised it to the level of being a doctrine, much more so than just a Medrash that a person will read in a Parsha of Shavua. Hashem tzilcha ma'atzel k'mo she'adam oseh kach hatzel oseh. And the Medrash describes, as the shadow does, so does the person do. Kein kiviyachol k'mo she'adam manhig et atzmo, kein kiviyachol manhig et kol alamot v'et ha'adam ha'oseh be'elu hamidot. As a person directs themselves, so too, as it were, kiviyachol, as it were. We don't mean this literally. Of course not. That is absolutely a sacrilege. We don't say that's not what we mean, but it's as if Hashem will run the world and direct the person themselves based on the attributes that they champion. So remember I mentioned before that Chesed and Gevura, Tiferet, there's 7 attributes of Hashem by which Hashem runs the world, as it were. So we are asked to emulate those. Im b'chesed v'rachman b'sasan v'simcha l'torah mitzvot kein Hashem yitbarach menhid kol amot v'ta'adam ha'oseh sasan v'simcha chesed v'rachamim. If we'll be that way, so Hashem will be that way with us. Right? It's in a certain manner, it's related to the Torah that we find from the Torah of the Hasidut of Chabad, of the Alter Rebbe, the Zechuto Yagein Aleinu, who explains the idea that tracht gut is ved sein gut. If you'll think good thoughts, think positively, and have a positive attitude, it'll be good. Did the Balatanya rather know that every single situation I just have to think positively and who cares about the rest? He wasn't living a Pollyannish existence by any means. He was trying to say it's important to keep that attitude. It doesn't mean everything's going to work out in your favor, but you'll see the good in it. Whatever it is, ultimately it is for the good, but not always can we see it in our life, in our lifetime, or in our own personal experience. Let's go to the end of the chapter, a few minutes left. Let me pause here. I'm sorry, I'm doing a lot of talking. Does anyone have any comments or questions on the phone or on the line? We're on Facebook Live, so just be mindful you're being recorded and you're being broadcast. So, okay. So we'll leave it at that. I can't access Facebook right now to see if anyone wrote in questions. I'm sorry. I can't do that at the moment. Okay, let's keep going. A few more minutes left, 8 minutes left. So we had learned previously, and I mentioned today when we started the shiur, that there is an idea that Yaakov Avinu is the first one to recite this chapter of Tehillim. You'll note that it doesn't say Shir Hamal LeDavid. It says Shir La Ma'alot, which is a tip-off that the fact that David HaMelech didn't write his name, contrast that with chapter 122, which starts Shir Hamalot LeDavid. So clearly David wrote it, yeah? And the Gemara in Bava Batra, I say every time, teaches us that the Siddur that we call Sefer Tehillim was not entirely written by David HaMelech. It was written principally by David HaMelech. It's ascribed to him. He got the name on the dedication page, and he wrote many of the chapters, most of them. But there were chapters written by other people before him and after him. So according to the tradition, Yaakov Avinu was the first one who recited this chapter of Tehillim. Look with me, Breshit Rav Vo Yaakov Shalem. Yaakov came whole. When did this happen? That he came Shalem? It's interesting. He came Shalem after he fought with the angel in the dead of night. And then after in the morning, he has his encounter with his brother, with Esav. Then Vayavo Yaakov Shalem, Ir Shem. And if you look at those psukim, you can go look them up for yourself. You'll see amazing, very beautiful. When is Yaakov whole? It's the only place where it actually says that the sun was shining for him. It says the sun came up. He had his period of darkness. He lived a lot of his life in darkness. You'll see that by the end of the Torah, he's already going down to Mitzrayim, and it's darkness again. He doesn't live to see the deliverance, but he knows that it's coming. He has that sense of emunah pshuta. And the Marot Halayla, the visions of the night, described in the 46th chapter of Sefer Breshit. And then, of course, Yaakov, who dies in Mitzrayim and is brought back up to Eretz Yisrael. Look here at this medrash now. Vayavo Yaakov Shalem. What does that connect to? Hashem Yishmor Tzeit V'echa Me'ata V'ad Olam. Hashem will guard your going out and your coming in from now and forever. Yishmor Tzeitcha, that's Vayetze Yaakov. That was when he left Eretz Yisrael, the comfort of his home, the safety of certainty, and went to a totally uncertain situation, a very risky situation. You have to live that way in exile for an extended period of time. But then Avoacha, your return, you're coming home. Vayavo Yaakov Shalem, he comes back and he is whole. The Malbim takes that along those lines. But a different idea. The Malbim just points out in his Biur Hamilot. Malbim writes, Hashem Yishmor Tzeitcha V'gam Boecha. Abshe be'ir ein tzarich shmir kol kach. When you're in your city, you don't need to be guarded so much. You know the area. You know the neighborhood. You don't need it so much, right? But when it comes to the world of bracha, so when you look in Sefer Dvarim, it actually uses the opposite. Baruch atah b'voecha v'gam baruch atah b'tzeitecha. That's in Sefer Dvarim, the brachas section of the what's known as the Tocha. First there's brachas in Parsha Kitavo. Hagam shemakom acher ein habracha mitzvah kol kach ki im yoshe beveito. Because the truth is, when you go out of town and you have to leave your house, you need shmira to protect you because it's unfamiliar, and because you need the protection to deal with the uncertainty of the journey. But when it comes to brachas, the Malbim writes it's the opposite. You're blessed when you come in, you're blessed when you go, because the source of the bracha, the place where bracha resides, is so often a person being in their own home. I don't know if the Malbim knew what we would be up to today, but just to think a little bit, none of us is interned somewhere in a prison. We have most of us are blessed to have our creature comforts. Maybe someone's watching this or listening to this in the hospital. So realize that you do have a home, and God willing, you have a refuah shlema. You'll return to that home soon, Emir Tzeh Hashem. And for all of our struggles and our trials, I think most of us are blessed to be able to live in a certain Daled Amot that is hopefully a place where we serve Hashem and a place where we find bracha as well, on whatever level. Okay. The Al-Sheikh writes, and I've said this many times, I sometimes forget to quote the name of the Al-Sheikh, let me bring some redemption to the world, that going out and coming in is not a reference to going out and coming in on journeys in this world, but about the world, life itself. He writes, V'hu inyan, like in Moed Katan, Rabbi Yochanan v'Rav Sham B'Silukan, Shivak Shmal Chamavich Li Yitzarem. Then he goes on to describe that these people, Rabbi Yochanan and Rava, when they were on their deathbed, they asked the Malach HaMavet should not cause them trouble. So he starts describing in the Gemara the different ways, sadly, that people can leave the world. And a whole this description they asked, this that for what they would call in the Middle Ages, it's morbid, but it's the truth. They would call it a good death, a good death. There's a book by a medieval scholar named Susan Einbinder. It's called A Beautiful Death. Not a happy read, but it's about how people would prepare in their lifetime for dying. Okay, lo aleinu, we want to prepare for living, but we should realize that the Sefer Tehillim also put this in as a possibility. We confront this every day, and we look at death in the face and we say, okay, so v'neman ata lahachiyot meitim, baruch ata Hashem mechaya meitim. Even for that, it's in the Amidah we mention. Okay, so it could be that that's what Hashem Yishmor Tzedek V'Echa means. That it means when you're going out of this world, should tzedek min olam. So, a person, lest the person say, what's the, what's the difference? If I'm going to come back soon in what's called Gilgul. So in the second go around, I could live a different life, and who cares what happens in this life? Be careful for the next time that you're coming around. Again, for those who adhere to the notions of Gilgul, there are many among the Rishonim and Achronim who did adhere to it, and there were those who said they don't accept such a concept, not in the mystical sense of literally a soul, as if it was like software being loaded onto some other machine. That's my analogy, but okay. But the idea is, be careful that you should think that Hashem Yishmor Tzedek V'Echa, you're going and you're coming, you're going to go out of the world, maybe you're coming back in another body, you're saying neshama, you won't know, but maybe that's what's going to happen, says the Al-Sheikh. And it's not only if that's going to happen one time, but we're saying Hashem should guard you, and it happens many, many times. Therefore, Hashem yishmorcha me'atav v'ad olam. Hashem yishmor tzedek v'echa me'atav v'ad olam. Hashem should guard you, right? Hine ki shiur ze nitkam b'shvil ha'ma'alot shebiyad ha'adam liot ole al yedei tov ma'asav u'v'chirav ki medubar. This song is really about the levels that a person can reach, and that are in our hands, that we can reach in our own lives here. What we can do in the good that we do, and our choices that we make. And that's what it means. The song, not shiur hamalot of the steps, but unto the steps, regarding the steps, because there are many such steps. Closing words, 1 minute left. Reb Tzadok Cohen says, Geshem Shmorcha, Tzedek V'Echa, etc. Hainu Yerida V'Aliyah. The fact is, a person has their time when they fall and a time when they rise. Spiritually, they feel worse and feel better. And therefore, it starts with Petach B'Yomam V'Achrav Laila. First comes the day described, and then the night is described, right? Hayurida V'Chashchut, the sense of descent, the sense of darkness. Pay no attention to the siren. That's our weekly practice of the siren from the local school in the neighborhood. Okay, nothing serious going on. Maybe it's a wake-up call for us. Who knows? Okay, so, and that's why Yomam Hashemesh li'akeka v'yarech b'layla. First comes the day, but the night will come after. And you have to know that it's coming. And therefore you have to prepare yourself. V'az nikra yotze v'chozer uba. And therefore the expression at the end is, God should guard, you're going out and you're coming in. V'chol aliyot v'yaridot. V'aliyot sheyesh la'adam v'chol mashech yimei chayav. Haklulim bichlal me'at v'ad olam. What does it mean? The going in and the coming out of my sense of connection to Hashem. It's going to rise, it's going to fall. It'll have morning, it'll have evening. And to know that those vicissitudes are part of life. They're supposed to be that way. And therefore it's me'atav v'ad olam. The Reb Tzadok writes in the Sisei Lail, Olamoshe Yovel HaGadol. I can't explain what that means, but it basically means the entire age of the world, of the universe itself, from beginning to end. HaKadosh Baruch Hu shemer nafsho leval yimot v'yikashel chas v'shalom achar shu makir b'hatchala me'ayin yavo izri. So a person expresses confidence that God will guard my soul, whatever happens in this world, beyond this world, to the end of the universe and beyond. Why? Because achar shu makir b'hatchala, I understand me'ayin yavo izri. As Chazal said, Chazal describe in the Gemara in Sukkah, shorthand, but it says that every day a person's evil inclination is stronger than they are. Every day it's renewed. However, v'ilmale HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisro, without the help of God, a person would never make it. That's the Gemara says there. Az mishpat ba'avur hakarazu hagam shehu behelin gadol b'tenuma v'shein rak b'derech emuna levad shlo b'hit galut libo. If a person feels, the rule is like this, a person feels the recognition and should recognize this recognition that I need God's help even at a time when I am in a time of hiddenness. I feel so hidden from Hashem. I feel so soporific, tenuma, sleepy, a time of slumber. But in my manner of emunah, that's all I have now, right? And it's not with the revelation in my heart of these feelings, but the affirmation of these as principles by which I live, come what may. Mikol makom midot laila b'yom mechubar yachad. Yiliot emud ve'emunah dvukim li'galut ha'emet. Va'abiru shebelev gan came to sof al kolpanim u'mela mishpat techav la'azro legamrei. Nonetheless, during the attribute of nighttime, we should know that the midah attribute of night is connected intrinsically to the attribute of daytime. Hashem yishmor tzeitcha, you're going out, meaning at night, where you feel low, uvolecha, and you're coming back in the day. There, two of them are connected intrinsically. So that's emet ve'emunah. The truth as we know it, and the faith that we believe in that truth, even when we can't see it or feel it at that moment. They're connected to that revelation of truth. They're devukim li'itgalut ha'emet. And this clarification within the heart itself, in the end, after all is said, this is something that right now, in the moment of my pain, the moment of my trial, is exactly what I say, Hashem, you're going to help me through this. I know you will. And therefore, Tehillim Kuf Chaf Aleph is an unbelievable affirmation of Emunah, connecting Yaakov Avinu, connecting David Malka Mashiach, and connecting every single Jew in every single generation, including our generation and all the generations that will come after it. I want to wish everybody a Chag Kosher v'Sameach, filled with Emunah, filled with Simcha, filled with a sense of confidence in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Emunah and Bitachon. We've gotten through everything until now. We're going to get through this together with Hashem's help, and we need to daven for Hashem's help. And we raise our eyes heavenward, and we say, Me'ayin yavo Ezri, from where will my help come? When I feel so low, when I feel like I'm nullified. And then I remember very quickly, Ezri Me'im Hashem, Osei Shemaim Va'aretz. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you will help me. You are the one who is the maker of heaven and earth. And behold, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Hashem Yishmor Tzeit Chavoecha Me'atav Yad Olam.